Today's shareable topic was the four virtues. And the virtue of the week is wisdom. Woo woo! Yay! So, the question is, what truth have you been avoiding? Why? That's funny. Because I've been avoiding the truth. Like, the whole truth. Nothing but truth. I swear. Uh, but I want to say the biggest one is that I will not know until I know. Being stagnant. And as I was going through my drilling and coming up with this week's selections, I came across a cherry blossom. Yeah, cherry blossom that had been a bit distorted and you could see the leaf. And I was like wondering why I was so drawn to it. And it was just like, I don't know. It just, I don't know. I couldn't explain it until yesterday. It's like back in April when I made the piece. And yesterday, it that I call it the slap at the back of the head. You know, something is said or it's done, and it doesn't like hit you until later when you get that. Oh, that's what they. Oh, cool. Oh, wait. So that mean so then it. Oh shit. So then I got right. And then everything, or not everything, but a situation or a question that you had makes more sense than it did when you tried to figure it out previously. So it's having that constant slap at the back of the head, especially when you're kind of inert, which is what I'm calling the piece. That, like I said, it kind of had me pick wisdom for this week. And then I have like this little prompt sheet of these questions that kind of rotate. I'm not sure about 6 months. Anywho, so you won't know until you know. Nothing changes. And yeah, staying in your comfort zone gets you literally nowhere. So those top truths are the ones that, yeah, or I guess the ones that I'm avoiding the most because the uncertainty. You know what I mean? It's like once you experience, the more you experience, the more you understand. So it's kind of like that informed pessimism opposed to the uninformed optimism of, for example, I went to Wildwood with European Americans. Yeah, a European American family, and we went to the little water park thing spot, and it was great. Yeah, it was great. And then I'm like, having fun. We had just been under the little donkey thingy, and they got little squirt tubes and run around on the thing, and then they had the slides, and then the tubes and the roaring waters. I think that's them, or maybe that's someone else. Either way, they have the water stuff with the water, and I I went with, so they had two younger kids or their grandkids. I'm gonna call it what it is. I like older men. Fucking Susie. Um, their grand, I was like with them. We were going down, to each little attraction, the slides, and just, I hadn't been there ever, or maybe not in a while. So it was like one of those summer fun days. Yay! That's so fun. Smoke some good stuff because the dude was definitely a chaperone at Woodstock. You know, you live and you learn. Anywho, so they're going down the slide. I'm like watching all these. European American children, no floaties, no goggles, no snorkel, no, life jacket, and they're going, and there's like a line, and then they're excited, like, yeah, yeah, I'm excited too, let's get excited. And then, so I'm slow, but I'm not dumb. What are the great perks of having, being on the spectrum? So I can never really remember if the quotation marks are foot or inches, right? So, they're talking about something, and like, yeah, we're like getting pumped up to go down. I kind of spot the sign outside of my eye, and I'm like 10. And I'm like, and then kids, you hear screaming. Yeah, every time kids scream, squirrel. So I'm like, because I'm sitting on like 10 with the, I'm like, is that a foot or is that an inch? So, well, whatever, the kids are doing it. That's fine. So we go down, two grandkids, they go down, like, cool, yay, woohoo. I go down, big old grown ass woman. And there was no woohoo. It was like, help me. And like, the lifeguard is sitting there and she's like looking at me. It's again, kids. At least a dozen kids had gone down, had a great old time. She probably been paid to do a job that she hasn't necessarily had to do in some time. You know? So like, you're welcome. And she's like, look, she's like, no, she's playing. This got to be a prank. And I'm like, this is not a prank. This is not what I thought it was. I did not think it would be this deep. Like, I'm looking at these kids and why they're doing it, and it's like, of course I can do it, but it's like they can do it because they could swim, but you can't swim. I can't swim. I can't. Like, I can't. I can almost drown. Like, yeah, I can like get very, yeah. I can do that. I can like, I'm like very good at keeping somewhat above the water. So again, 10 feet of water, 5 foot or two. And so yeah, there's a yeah, big old gap. I'm like flailing, and this water is like, okay, cool. That's the attitude to start off with when starting something. Expectations of, yeah, I'm gonna do it just like they did it.